This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, Choose to Rise fans, kjpmeyer here. I wanted to extend an invite to you to join me in my Healthy Living Accountability group, Together We Rise. It is there where we work on fitness, we work on nutrition, we work on positive mindsets, and supporting each other in the process of living a healthy, fulfilling life. In whatever season of life that you're in, everyone has the opportunity to live a healthier, more fulfilling life. So join me. Head me up at choosetoriseup@gmail.com or check out choosetoriseup.com to learn more about how you can be a part of this amazing group and feel fulfilled and healthy for life. Oh, Choose to Rise fans, how are you today? Hopefully you can hear us, and you might notice that there's two of us. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Choose to Rise. For those of you that are not live with us here on Facebook in the podcast version, I have a very special woman sitting next to me, one of my dear, dear friends that I would never have met if it was not for this healthier lifestyle that I've been living and talking to you about so much in the podcast lately and just talking about in life, because personal development is so important. And just knowing that life has gotten better because of this journey that I've been on, and how the reason why I come to you every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday is because of my growth experience and personal growth experience and learning through personal development and being a part of this amazing community of uplifting, supportive women that you hear me talk about all the time. And she just happens to be the leader of the pack of one of the groups that I'm in, and just dear, dear friends. So if you follow me on Instagram, kjpmeyer, you see her a lot. If you are on my team, you know who she is. If you are a part of my circle, my inner circle, you definitely know who she is. This is Julianne Condia. She's also a podcaster, so you should go check out her podcast, Rewritten. You'll find a lot of the same similar things. We just have different styles, but it's a lot of the same. Personal growth is so important to us, and we want to bless and share a lot of other people. So today I wanted to bring her on, since we get to be together this weekend at a leadership retreat for our company or organization that we're part of. I thought, hey, let's have an interview. Let's talk about personal growth and what it's done for our lives. And so we'll just kind of kick off. I'm just going to ask her questions, so kind of follow along. And it might be a little longer than normal, but that's probably because I'm going to talk more, not because she does. But here we go. All right. So what is one thing that you wish you would have known before it happened? Or one thing you wish you had known before you even maybe started this healthier lifestyle or this journey?
Right. So I started my lifestyle 5.5 years ago, and it's everything that I needed. I was just overworked, burnt out, and just craving more, but not really knowing what to do next. I just feel like everyone's taught you that this is how life goes. You go to school, you get a job, you stick in that job. Well, what happens when you're not happy and you're not fulfilled, or you're unhealthy, or you're exhausted? That's scary, especially when, you've been doing that. And so that's a really good question to ask. I just feel like I'm going to actually go the opposite direction with it. I think that it was good that I didn't know a lot, because I think so many times people can get so caught up in the knowing, and then it starts creating more objections or excuses or reasons and fears. And so for me, partnering with a company that focuses on fitness and nutrition, but then joining a team that focuses on community self-care, self-love, and freedom, I feel like because I didn't know so much, I had more opportunity to not narrow myself down. Mm-hmm. And so I'm actually very thankful how I got my start of I really just trusted my gut of I needed a change, and it takes change to change. And so, you know what, I'm just going to put one step in front of the other. I'm just going to do one thing at a time. And for me at the time for that, it was joining a community. I think community is everything in life. Mm-hmm. And it was, I'm going to start moving my body more, and I'm going to start eating better instead of trying to cut out so many things and all stuff. So I'm going to go with, I'm glad I didn't
glad you didn't know.
No,
and like, a lot of things we talk about here in Choose to Rise are like rising up out of your current situation to live your best life. Like sometimes you just have to put your head down and make the change.
Right.
You just have to just choose that you want to do something different.
And so many people psych themselves out because they're trying to figure out the most easiest way to do it. And it actually ends up making it harder.
Right. And it's so simple of just improving your lifestyle is improving yourself, improving and loving who you are so that you can massively love other people. Okay, the second question I have for you is, what is the best advice you've been given lately?
Ooh, lately?
Or just in general? Do you have some really amazing advice that you've been given?
I do. I think that right now what's probably sticking in my head is do what finds you joy. There's a lot of people that are doing things because they feel like they have to do them, or they do them out of guilt, or they feel like there's no other choice. And for me, I just don't want to live like that. I don't want to get to the end of my life and look back and have regrets of, I just feel like we're never going to get time back. It's always going to go fast. I think that time is just something we can't ever slow down. And even how great the moment is and you want to soak it in, at the end of the day, you can't stop it. And so doing what finds you joy, and I love, by the way, that we get to do that for also not just our family, not just finances, but also for self-care. It's just freaking crazy. It just blows my mind. But do what finds you joy. And do that. And that has been really, really helpful. And I think another thing that has always stuck with me over the last 5.5 years is that success is not above you. We were just talking about that. Yes, where it's so good that you qualify yourself. Qualify yourself instead of disqualifying yourself. And I think that is true if you want to change.
Yeah, and you were just talking about time. Like, I pulled out my calculator and calculated what the seconds and minutes are, because I was listening to a John Maxwell podcast recently, and he was talking about, imagine if someone were to give you $220,000 and put that in the bank and said you have to spend every single dollar of it today before the strike of midnight. Like, would you spend that money, like knowing that it was going to flush out at midnight? And all the people were like, well, of course I would. And so then he was like, well, it's the same thing. Like you get 220,000. I don't even know if that's the exact number, if I calculated correctly, but like you get 220,000 minutes or seconds, opportunities, moments in your day. And it's going to flush out at the end at midnight, and you don't get them back. You can't ever spend it again. So why not live life with joy?
And I think it's also because people are so stuck that they want to escape life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I think that's what we've been trained to do, where it's like, oh, I'm exhausted, I should turn on TV. Where I'm going to go against that, and people kind of get angry when I'm like, I just don't think that's fulfilling. You can argue all you want with me on that, but at the end of the day, no, it's not. It's not fulfilling.
And it's our own perspective and what we want to bring, how we want to live. And complaining about it only brings more complaining. Right. You know what? Okay. What are some resources that you've been using lately that have helped you along the way?
I think someone who wants to move mountains is resourceful. So I think if you want to get anything done, you can't ever rely on someone else to do it for you. And you have got to become the most resourceful person that you know. And so for me, I think when I mentor a lot of people, they're waiting for me to give them the answer. But the people that I love working with are the ones that I love working with you, but I also love that you're massively resourceful, right? So for me, I go to YouTube a lot, and then I just take the action, really. And I just feel like I learn from just taking the action. Podcasts. So, and reading books, but that's probably where I help myself if I'm feeling stuck or needing an idea, sparking an idea. I really have, everything is a Google search away, and you could build anything with Google.
Yeah. If I were to guess what your 3 things were, I would have said YouTube, books, and podcasts.
Yeah.
it's how we grow. And they're all free. Books aren't necessarily free, but you can learn so much in podcasts and YouTube and all the things.
It's so crazy. But that's the thing where people are like, oh, I don't have money, I don't have time, where it's like, no, you're filling your time with things that aren't helping you with whatever big dreams you have, or you don't know how to dream big. I think there are a lot of people who don't know how to dream.
I would say that the other resource that never gets talked about, that is probably the most powerful resource that we have, that we have 1,000% control over, is our mindset.
Yeah. And that's why I fill it with.
Yeah. You fill you use those things to change your mindset.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Who are 3 people in your life that have been the most influential on you?
Oh, this is so powerful. I feel like there are different groups, if that makes sense. Like there's just different, like, so for like faith, I have a group of people that help me faith-based marriage, right? But if we want to go, Tony Robbins is amazing, and going to his conference completely changed that. That's how I'm sober. I haven't drank alcohol in a year and a half. Tony Robbins is everything. My husband is literally like the most encouraging, wonderful human being on this freaking planet. But again, thinking of resources, and I think that it's cool that we can have virtual mentors. So right now, a current influencer for me of innovation, ideas, motivation, pressing through. This person has built a business for 17 years, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, she's definitely faced adversity and she's stuck it out. And I just think that any kind of entrepreneur will face any hard times. And I think that's why a lot of people quit, is because they don't lean in. They don't it's like, that's part of it. That's like what makes it so fun, right? Is Sarah Blakely, the creator of Spanx. And she's brilliant and hilarious and loves Cheez-Its. I get her. We're like the same person.
Yes. And one of the, like you talked about, like finding struggle and maybe failure, for lack of a better word. I always use air quotes in that, because I don't really, failure is only when you quit.
Yeah.
But like one of the things that I say with my kids all the time is, when I struggle, I just keep trying, because when I fail is when I learn. Okay. And so thinking about that, like what has been your biggest failure, or what has been your biggest learning point, if we're going to really switch it, and like, what did you learn from it?
Yeah. I feel like
recently or whatever.
Yeah, I think I go through a lot of learning. I would say the biggest thing that I learned was how to communicate better. And I think because I have an intense personality and very blunt personality, and one, trusting myself without knowing, if I'm leading with the best intentions, no one can take that away from me unless I let them. But I think some failures that I had was getting caught up in ego and feeling like I had to hit goals or be a certain person because it was expected. And once I really learned, and that took me honestly a really long time to figure out, but once I could realize that just me being me without trying to have any expectations that I think other people put on me, do what brings me joy. But my biggest failures have definitely been when I was trying to be someone I wasn't, or caring way too much about the status thing or other people thought, or things like that. Yeah.
Good. Those are really good learning opportunities there. Okay. So last question, well, maybe second to last question I have for you. What is, there's lots of questions on my sheet. Which one do I want to pick from you? What's a common misconception that people have about you?
That I'm intimidating, or I'm selfish.
And we think it's a lot because you're an 8 on the Enneagram.
Right. So or I'm cocky, I think, where it's, I'm just very, and I don't feel those things. It's just, I say it how it is. I trust myself. We were just learning that. And I really do think I never get wavered on other people, really, in the sense of like, if I want to do something, I just do it. But a lot of people think that I'm very intimidating, or a misconception that people have about me is that I'm super extroverted.
And you're very introverted. Very introverted. Same. So very introverted myself as well. That's why we're friends. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this whole, like, Choose to Rise is all about being your best, living up to who you want to be. For me, I talk about Choose to Rise is, growing yourself, rising up out of your current situation to live your best life. What does Choose to Rise mean to you?
Yeah. So there was something really powerful said today, and I'm probably going to butcher this. When you feel like you're being buried, you're actually being planted. Yes. And today I was like, that was really, really cool. So when I'm thinking of rising, I'm thinking that an apple tree to an orange tree takes a different amount of time to grow fruit. So they each have different year to be able to produce fruit. And so choosing to rise has a different time frame for depending on what the fruit is. And we're all different. And so I might be a different fruit than you. But just because my pace might be faster or slower doesn't make it any less significant. And so I just feel like choosing to rise is just knowing that it may take 20 years for you to really figure out some ideas or passions or things like that. But I think it's always just putting your foot in front of the other, and it's just choosing to get up every single time. It's choosing to, what we do, a lot of our business is self-care and maybe posting on social media, and sometimes it can be hard to hit send or hit enter or share a story and get vulnerable. But I feel like every time we do that, we're choosing to rise. Like we're choosing to be more transparent because we care about people and we want to connect with them and know that they're not alone. But it's just making an effort to get better.
I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you for just hanging out with me
Thanks
today.
for asking. I was so honored.
It was an easy ask to have her on. And if you haven't yet checked out her podcast, Rewritten, also here on Public House Media, I would highly encourage you to go do so. Hit subscribe, share, tell all your friends about it as well. Where can listeners find you on social media?
They can find me at Julianne Condia on Instagram. And also, if you want to go to juliannecondia.com.
Yeah. Awesome sauce. Well, thank you so much today for joining me. And it's been so much fun. I hope you guys check out all the fun stuff that we've been doing here lately. And thanks for listening in. Be back here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, helping you rise up out of your current situation to live your best life. Talk to you later, friends.